Shuichi was just getting home from a long day at work. He had to deal with so many complaints and had to file so many past cases because of someone trying to find something in a rush, but in the process they threw the organized files everywhere. He was irritated, but thankfully his partner Kyoko Kirigiri stayed and helped him organize all the files and answer the phone calls that came in with crabby people irritated about how long it was taking some of the other detectives to get back to them with some information regarding their situation. All in all, Shuichi was tired, exhausted, and done dealing with people. He walked out to his car, only to find it started to rain while he was in the office for 12 plus hours. He sighed and rushed into his car, throwing his keys into the ignition, wanting to just get home and read a book to get his mind off things. The car ride wasn't long, but seeing as he was already frustrated, it seemed like forever on the drive home. Many other people cut him off, and one guy even honked at him and flipped him off through the window before he cut him off as well. Shuichi was trying to calm down by playing piano music in his car because it reminded him of his best friend Kaede, and how she was always so positive. This is one of the reasons Shuichi looked up to her so much. But since she moved, they barely see each other. Once a month, and sometimes not even that. Some weeks Kaede is so busy doing performances and practicing that she can barely even manage to call him once a month. Shuichi didn't blame her for this. He was happy for her. She loved to play the piano, and he was happy that she was happy. He loved seeing her smile when she was doing something that she loved. But the intense feeling of loneliness didn't go away. It never went away. He has never been close to anyone. It's not that he didn't like being around people, he just didn't like being close to people. This may be partially because whenever he's gotten close to someone in the past, they have always left him in some way. Not that he feels like Kaede left him or anything, he just wants to feel important to someone. He wants to have them by his side. He wants to be able to talk to someone about his thoughts and have them listen to him. He wishes more than anything to find someone that he clicks with. This loneliness is not because he has a lack of friends. He has a lot of people he talks to and goes out with occasionally, like Kaito and Maki, but he still feels alone. They always have other things they're invested in and sometimes don't talk to him for weeks. He doesn't blame them, he blames himself. He hates how he's so lonely, even though he has great friends and so many great people surrounding him. He hates how everyone else is so happy all the time when all he can think about is, are they interested in what I have to say? Are they bored with me? Are they going to leave me like everyone else? He always pushed these thoughts away and tried to ignore them as best he could, but they always came back when he was alone and all he could do is cry silently in his room, alone. He pulled into his driveway and took off his coat, hanging it on the rack before throwing his keys on the table. He walked over and collapsed on the couch when he heard scratching at his door. Confused, he got up cautiously and walked over to the door, pulling it open slowly. He peeked out the door to see no one outside. He sighed and turned back to close the door when he heard a soft meow. Shuichi looked down at the mat in front of the door and saw a purple cat sitting on it, scratching the door. The cat was dark purple and it was covered in mud. The cat looked up at him with its purple eyes and meowed again, walking towards Shuichi. He picked up the cat, confused about how it got to his front door, but even more concerned about how it was shaking and covered in mud. He brought it inside and cleaned it off in the open sink, quickly drying it with a towel afterwards. The cat nuzzled into his hand and gave a content meow before Shuichi started petting it.
So, why were you out in the rain?
He looked down at the cat only to get a confused head tilt in response.
You're nice, not like the last person I ran into.
Of course. You're a cat. Sorry, that was silly of me. I'm Shuichi Sahara, and I'm going to take care of you, since you don't have a collar, and I don't want to leave you in the cold rain outside.
He said, pulling the cat into his arms again, going over to the fridge to get it some milk and some of the fish he made for dinner yesterday.
I am Kokichi. Thank you so much.
Here you go.
Shuichi said, placing the bowl of milk and a plate of cut-up fish on the table before petting him behind the ears, causing Kokichi to meow, licking his hand before heading over to the food. Shuichi got up and grabbed his book off the nightstand by his chair and opened it up and began to read. He soon fell asleep on the chair from the exhausting day he had. Kokichi jumped on the table after finishing the fish and the milk and walked over to Shuichi in the chair. He went into his lap before changing into his human form.
Thank you, Shuichi.
Kokichi said before snuggling into him and quickly falling asleep. The next morning, Shuichi woke up to a person in his arms. He jumped a bit, waking Kokichi up in the process. Kokichi groaned, moving closer into his chest. Shuichi blushed, looking down at Kokichi. He noticed the boy on top of him had purple hair, with cat ears. He also had purple eyes, and he was wearing a long, checkered sweater with shorty shorts underneath them. He looked really cute. This only caused Shuichi's blush to darken. Kokichi looked up at him, feeling his temperature increase.
Oh, you're awake, Shuichi? I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Kokichi Ouma, and you saved my life, Shuichi!
He announced, pulling Shuichi into another hug. Shuichi was flustered and confused. Who is this guy? Shuichi thought about avoiding eye contact when Kokichi looked at him again.
Oh, sorry, you must be confused.
He said, getting up looking embarrassed.
I'm a Neko, and you said that you were going to take care of me. Does the fact that I'm a Neko make you not want me anymore?
Kokichi said, flinching like he was going to get hit. Shuichi stood up. Although he had no idea what was happening, he wanted to take care of him. And seeing as he is a Neko and cute, Shuichi didn't want him to leave.
No, you can stay. I want you to stay.
Shuichi said, whispering the last part. Kokichi smiled and walked over to him.
Of course I'll stay with you. Duh.
Kokichi smiled and hugged him again. They sat on the couch and talked for the rest of the day about who they were and what they've been through. Shuichi finally found the person he was looking for. Although not in the way he thought he would. He found him. The person who needed him. The person who he's important to. The person who understands him. He found Kokichi Ouma.